Investing in the stock market for beginners. Hey guys, Christopher Story. So I want to talk about how a couple things, some strategies, some basic principles for investing, and of course a couple things you can do strategy-wise to kind of get yourself started. So if you are new to investing into the stock market, there are a couple things that I'd like to share with you. So let's start with the principles. First things first, as far as the principles, my number one principle, I have like 6 principles that I go by that I use not only just for the stock market, but I use the same principles for real estate investing as well. So number one is do your own research, become super knowledgeable in your investment and your investment strategy. Okay, so a couple things. You have to understand your plan of investing, right? Are you trying to invest for a short term? Are you trying to invest for a long term? Do you understand what you're buying? Are you familiar with what you're buying? And of course, what's your plan? What's your ultimate goal, right? So number 2 is going to be read, learn, invest intelligently and not emotionally, okay? Education is key, all right? You need to make sure that you're educating yourself and understanding stocks or real estate or whatever you're investing in, but as far as this is concerned, understanding the company that you're investing in, and then doing your research on that company as well. Education, well, guys, one of the things that I do is that helped me a lot is going to be this book here. It is called Intelligent Investor. It is by Benjamin Graham. This book was a phenomenal book to help me understand the mindset that it takes to invest. And this book not only was for stocks, but it actually helped with real estate as well. It was a phenomenal book. It's thick, but it's very, very knowledgeable and well worth the read. Okay. Now, the next one is going to be number 3 is going to be, it's a quote from Warren Buffett. When everyone is greedy, be fearful. When everyone is fearful, be greedy. A prime example of this was, it just recently happened when the lockdowns hit, the stock market tanked and everyone was like, no, we got to pull out. That was when I showed up to the party to start to buy. Right? I stood on the sidelines for some time because things were just going up. The lockdowns hit and I got excited. Right? I knew the stock market, when it tanked, it was going to go back up. And of course, where we are today at the filming of this video, now the stock market is climbing back up. Okay? Whether there's a correction coming or not, cannot answer that. But I can say that there was a dip, and if you got involved in that when the dip happened, you made money on the way out. All right. So if people are super fearful, that's when you get greedy. If people are super greedy, that's when you get fearful. I love that. It's Warren Buffett. It's served me well. Number 4 is your biggest enemy when investing in is yourself. You have to develop the discipline to not buy or sell because of emotions. All right. This is huge. Investing is about discipline. You must have discipline. You cannot allow your emotions to determine when you buy and when you sell. If you do that, you are setting yourself up for failure. Example, when you first start investing in stocks, you'll buy some stock, you're going to hold on to it, and it may dip. You're going to go, oh my God, it's going to go lower and lower and lower, and you sell because you're scared. Your emotions have taken over and you sold, and now you've lost. A prime example, and I've had this time and time. I've bought something, it has dipped, and I'm down essentially, right? I'm down. I'm not making any money, and I held on to it, and then it turned around. And that's exactly what you have to have, is that emotional fortitude to not just let your emotions run rampant. It will help you in the long run, right? And then of course, the next one is number 5 that leads into it. Your emotions, because they can run rampant if you let them, they end up costing you money. But remember this, having that emotional fortitude and the discipline, you don't lose anything until you actually sell it. Once you sell, then you lose or you gain. So if you purchase something and you're waiting on, you're just sitting on it and it dips, you don't have to sell it. Hang on to it. And then it goes up. That's a prime example. And then once it goes up, if you want to sell, sell. Now, I'm not saying that it's always going to go up, but what I'm telling you is that just because it's gone down in value doesn't mean you have to sell and lock in the loss. You don't lose any money until you lock in that loss by selling that particular asset. And the same thing goes for real estate, not just stocks, but real estate just as well. And of course, the last one is one that I can't stress this enough. I see this is don't speculate. All the time, when I read different things, whether it's, in different forums or groups or discussions, there's always someone who's speculating. Oh, buy this because it's going to go up, and buy that because it's going to go up. Or I know this one I have is, you have friends when you get on that topic of stocks and maybe they're not really into it, they don't really understand, or investing, they're just kind of like, they've heard, oh, so-and-so said this is going to go up, so you should buy that. But is there any research behind that, right? If you are just speculating that something's going to happen, you are not investing. You are gambling your money is what's happening. And that is not a good thing, okay? So don't speculate, learn, research. Now, speculation's fun. Don't get me wrong. I've done it as a core component. I don't do it on a consistent basis. I'm not going to just go and speculate everything I have. But, if you are one of those people that you're like, I really just want to just test out that water, take a very small amount and use that. Okay? I've done well off of a small amount of speculating, but I've done way better by sticking to these core principles and not speculating at all and understanding my investment. Okay? Because everyone in here, or everyone who's otherwise invested, they like the risk, right? They're, oh man, it's fun, it's exciting. So I'm not saying don't, especially stocks, because you can speculate on a very small level and it's kind of exciting. But don't do that on a very high amount, right? That's not what you want. It needs to be solid investing. Now, let's talk about a couple things you can do. I'm going to explain how I got started and what I did, and so that it'll help you understand how you can start. So when I started investing, of course, this shows you a little bit of my age. Blockbuster was still around. And one of the first stocks that I ever purchased was Blockbuster. Now, if you're out there and you're just starting and you're thinking, what do I invest in? Where do I go? You might be watching, the financial news or whatnot. Someone such as like Jim Cramer might come on and say, oh man, you got to buy this, you got to buy that, hits the horn and ding, 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 I need to do this. And that's how I started. I didn't have anyone to help me out or tell me what to do. I started because I was watching that, and I'll never forget that the Blockbuster CEO came on and he had this great story, and he's like, oh yeah, we're doing great. Blockbuster's going to do fantastic, and we're going to go places. Well, at that time in the background, Redbox was slowly putting their stuff in the stores. And I remember seeing Redbox in like Albertsons and different grocery stores. And I thought to myself, well, Blockbuster's king. It's been around. And hey, you know what? He's here on the news and he's telling me this is going to be great. I need to do this. Jim Cramer is the stock expert. He's telling me, yeah, buy Blockbuster. So there's a moral to this. I did two things. When I started, what I did was I bought like a very, very small amount of Blockbuster. And I sat on it. And sure enough, and I say small amount, I'm talking like 3 shares, 2 shares. It was not a lot of money. It wasn't a lot of money, and it wasn't a lot of shares. But I was doing two things. One, I was learning about what it means to buy, right? So I went and I opened up an account. I opened up an E-Trade account at that time, opened up E-Trade, and I bought a couple shares of Blockbuster, and I just sat on it. I didn't sell it. I was understanding the process of how investing happens. I was understanding what it meant to buy, what it was, how it happened, how it worked. And it was done with a small amount of money. And then the other thing I was doing too is I was actually learning a little bit about myself and my discipline to be able to hold a stock if it was losing money or going down. And of course, the end result, Blockbuster went belly up and it was gone, and so was my investment. But it wasn't a lot, but it was a way to learn. And another thing that I learned too, and I'll never forget this lesson, I don't watch financial news to find the next big thing. Okay? The CEO of Blockbuster went on to pump up the stock, and I purchased it, and that stock went belly up. That taught me to not go and watch the financial news and, oh man, what are they doing today? Oh, this stock is going to go up. Oh, these people. I don't get involved in that anymore. And I have not watched the financial news in quite some time. In fact, I kind of like that Warren Buffett. He stays away from the market. He reads a lot. But he's like, I'm not involved in all of that. But involved in making your own decisions. So that was a prime example of it helped with one of the principles, which is to not listen to someone else tell you what to buy, right? And that's exactly what I did. And of course, part of me wanted to go run out and buy Jim Cramer's book. And I'm new, right? Go buy Jim Cramer's book and invest the way he's investing. This right here, these solid principles have held true. And I'm sure that many other investors who have done well will tell you the same thing. See, I'm not here to tell you what to buy. That's not it. If I come in and I say, you need to buy this stock or you need to buy that stock, I'm not doing you a service, because I'm just telling you what I did. And that becomes gambling for you, and it's very lazy. So instead, you need to do your research and buy what you're familiar with and understand what you like to buy. Now, I will tell you this, for me personally, one of my favorite things to buy, and again, I'm not telling you which to buy, but I'm telling you strategy-wise, I like buying things that people need. That's huge. I love to buy something that people need. There are necessities out there in the stock market that you can get involved in, and people need those things. So that's just some food for thought, just something to think about. So let me give a quick recap. So if you're new to investing in the stock market, open an account. It doesn't matter. It could be E-Trade, Ameritrade. It could be Robinhood. It doesn't matter. You make that decision. Buy a small amount of a company, and I mean small, like buy a couple shares and get a feel for what it's like to invest. And then, of course, that'll give you a chance to test your emotions and your discipline with not selling out when it goes down, or not selling out really fast when it gets up because you want to make your money back. It will teach you that. And another thing is, I personally am a very long-term investor. I look long-term in the horizon, and I think that's very helpful. So I encourage that. That might not be your investment strategy, but I do encourage that. And of course, last thing as well is, as you guys probably already have figured out, I am a real estate investor as well. To me, stocks are fun. I've made great money in stocks. I've invested in stocks for quite some time. But in the end, I am in love with real estate. It has done way more. And I've always moved money that I've made from stocks into real estate. And it has been a fantastic strategy. So I encourage you that if you are investing in stocks for the first time, or maybe you just have a small amount of money, because you can start with a couple $100, and start to learn. And when you get to a certain point, take that money from stocks and put it in a real estate, put it into an asset that you can hold for quite some time and have a lot more control over, because you don't have as much control over stocks. You have more control over real estate than you do stocks. So I encourage you to take that money and move it from stocks at some point into real estate. and of course, long-term real estate. So if that is something that interests you, I'd love to help you with it. We do have a Facebook group that is Real Estate for Retirement. It is about investing long-term for your retirement using real estate. And if you're not at that point, no worries. Come join the group, come learn, come get an understanding, see what real estate's all about. We'd love to have you in there. But if not, no worries for that. But stocks are a great way to start. And then of course, real estate should be that ultimate end goal. So with that being said, guys, take action, open an account, put this knowledge to work, try it, learn, read, understand what you're investing in. And I hope you guys, I wish you guys the best. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to hit me up. Till then, see you guys next time.